Welcome, everyone, to episode 27 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River,
SDF Lawnboy, and SDF Creamy. They're my boys.
Crimson Warlock.
Hey, everybody.
For the first time, we are not having Jez. Let's take a moment of silence. And Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast, however it is that you choose to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. And just a reminder that we only use the number 1 whenever we mention Guardian 1 in its shortened form, just like the Twitter account. So again, that's at G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. There's also a Bungie.net forums group for Guardian 1. It's currently at 131 members. If you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just click the buttons that say set as PlayStation clan or set as Xbox clan after you join the group. We utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. And thank you to all of you guys currently in the Twitch chat. We do appreciate it. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. Broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include Warlock School, DoD Podcast, Robust Radio, TTL Party Chat, and the Audio Grimoire podcast called Ghost and Echoes. And that's it for housekeeping. Remy?
You know, I was going to, I've been thinking about this all week, and I was going to just let you hang. I was just going to keep it silent. But then I decided that was rude. You know, like I want to foster good habits. I don't want you to think that it's just going to
you could do that with friends.
Crickets.
And friends can do that.
You know what it is I'm just deathly afraid of dead air, which is part of the reason I talk so much. You know, Number 1, I love to hear myself talk. Number 2, I love to talk about Destiny. Number 3, dead air. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
The show's over. But yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a strange show without Jez, I think. Jez has not missed a single one, and he's an interesting part of this collective because I have a hard time asking people to do things, and whenever I ask him to do something, he just does it. And he says things like, "Sure thing, boss." And I know he's just messing around, but it's like, I don't know. It feels good to have him on the show, and it's so funny because he's so quiet until either something sets him off and he has to say something, or when you ask him a direct question and he's just been holding it in. He's just been bottling it up. I don't know how he does it. And tonight is going to be especially interesting because if you've been following the community since yesterday, the last 24 hours have been this roller coaster of slipped information and, you know, speculation, and it's my theory that Jez actually knows more than he can talk about, and since it's difficult to get him to stop talking when you ask him a question, I think that he just realized that it was best if he just bowed out of this one. You know, like Prime Guard are a very active clan. You know, they tear things apart and then they walk away from them, and I think that he knows more than he's letting on. And that's cool. You know, I appreciate him not just sitting here and going, well, I can't tell you that. So, but yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. Let's see. Why don't we start with you, Agrios? I really liked the last show we just went right into what it was that you had lined up, and we got that all out of the way. I don't know. I think that's
Sounds good.
a great idea. Let's start there.
All right. Well, we'll start with the weekly update. It is a relatively light weekly update this week. They start talking about the upcoming 1.1.1 update, fixing the legendary heavy ammo bug and the weapon tuning that they promised us last week. And they've assured us that they're on track for their end of February delivery. One new announcement is a fairly big and fairly helpful change to the UI. They went to David Candlin, has been working on. He's their design lead for the user interface, and there's a new faction menu, and it's going to drop down near your glimmer and tell you what all your different reputations are with each of the different factions, and your marks for the week. Are you guys excited about this as I am?
Man, this is so super exciting. And I've been waffling back and forth on whether or not I want to throw my hand in. You know, like I'm certain you guys have all seen the mock-ups the community have done for certain aspects that would make the game that much more playable. And I'm wondering if there's rules around what they are allowed to do. Like I don't want to make a mock-up of a screenshot, then they can't use that idea because then that's my idea, or if that doesn't come into it at all. But I had been trying to figure out how you could get the idea of how many marks that you've earned out of a week, and my idea was to put the circle, the ring that showed the ring that showed your progress, around the Vanguard and around the Crucible, right on that first screen when you go to the inventory. Like where you see those, where you see how many marks you have. I wanted to put a bar around that, but just cramming it all into that subsection, it really makes sense, and it's really awesome, and especially awesome because I've just started the horribly patience pushing task of preparing for the House of Wolves, which is basically I'm getting all of my different factions up to just where, like, almost level 4, but then walking away from it. Like, I'm getting them within one bounty of doing level 4. That way, when the House of Wolves drops, I will be able to just turn in a bounty and ching, there's that faction package in the tower, and whatever comes with that. I'd made the mistake last time of gathering up vendor packages and saving them, and then when the Dark Below dropped, it was all that old gear anyways, because apparently when, you know, it doesn't matter, it's already in there. Once the package is made, once the engram is made, they know what's in there. Like, I don't think that it, that's why they said before that patch you needed to do everything before it went over, because it was all greens anyways. So I'm super excited about this. I'm super excited about just having it all along the top there. But really, that's only because I'm planning to go through with each of the factions. River, what do you think about this? And are you doing something similar in preparations for House of Wolves?
Not really, because I didn't actually think about that. So thanks for the pro tip.
Yeah, pro tip.
Yeah. So, did we mention how long they said they were working on this?
I did not specify.
You did not specify? I think they said that they've been working on that since a little bit after launch. And I just wanted to point out that if it took them that long to get something like that implemented, there's probably a whole lot of things that go into this game before it can be approved and sent off and actually see, us see it. So getting bugs fixed, getting everything that you want out of this game is going to be a long process. I just wanted to point that out.
Definitely.
Besides that, I'm pretty excited for it.
I'm curious to know how they do that. Like, what is the level of rigor that they put it through? You know, they change something, and then it does something completely unexpected. Like, how far down can they extrapolate on that? But that's a whole nother conversation. Crimson, what do you think about this? What do you think about this situation, the new UI?
I am so excited for it, and I'm glad that it's finally coming. I was thinking throughout the day, like my thoughts on it was, why did they go with the second screen option? Or why did they decide to have all this on your mobile and available? And I do like being able to look at my character while I'm at work on the website or on my phone. But like when I'm playing the game, I don't have time to like open up my phone really fast and look at where I'm at if I wanted to check my reputations or anything like that. If I'm like on Mars or something, doing patrols or a mission. And my whole thought was, they didn't start development on this until like 2007. I'm gonna say it's probably when development started, and back then that was kind of the big thing was mobile apps with your games, and I think it just kind of stuck, and that was their development choice. But this is further proof that Bungie listens and they're willing to make the changes. And this is something that's taken them 6 months to implement, just like the ammo fix. I mean, they've known about it for 6 months. They've probably been working on it for 6 months, and they never brought it up until they were like, "We're 90% sure this fix is going to work, so we'll talk about it finally."
Well, I think that what we're looking at here is an example of some kind of cascading to-do list. Like I think that it said on that article that they've wanted to have something similar since they received their first package or their first bounty or something from the Crucible. Like whatever it was that I read led me to believe that this has been something that they've wanted to do for a while, but because it wasn't what they were already working on, it's just pushed back that much farther. So it's probably been in their minds for a long, long time. But I am so glad that they've decided to do this because as much as I absolutely love having everything on my phone, except for the 3D character, it's a Note 2. I could play Destiny through it. Why can't I make this 3D model? But I think it's great to have all that information in there. And when I'm away from the console, it's amazing to have all that information and be able to plan ahead. But at the same time, exactly like you said, Warlock, I cannot be bothered to look at my phone right that second. I either need to shoot something or be traveling to a planet. And as much as I hate to say this, the load times just aren't enough for me to really dig into the details of my phone, which is strange because I could just look at it in the application, in the game itself. Agrios, are you excited about this? And are you preparing for the House of Wolves?
I have not started preparing for the House of Wolves yet. I play enough that there's enough time basically yet for me to still get my faction rankings up to. But I'm going to do the exact same thing that you did as far as getting them all up ready to flip over to the next thing to get a package. As far as the UI goes, I am excited that it's going to happen, but I'm going to be a little critical. Is that I think this is something that should have obviously been there from the start, in my opinion. I think access to how many marks you've done a week somewhere other than the map screen should have been forethought and put into there ahead of time. I think it falls into the category of, like you were saying a little bit before, about they had to prioritize some things. I almost wish after seeing Destiny that they would have had just a little bit more time to work on it, because I mean, even when the game first launched, like certain icons for different armors and exotics and things weren't the correct icons yet. Even they're still like a default placeholder icon, and that didn't update till several weeks into the game.
Man, that's a great point. And you know what? And the those accelerator modules, they still don't have their own. I hate the fact that so many of those what is it called? I can't even remember.
You mean the Sparrow upgrades, the engines upgrades, like?
No, for the weapons.
Oh, the telemetries.
Yeah, the telemetry. Like I'm saddened that the telemetries don't have their own icons. I was actually gonna message Destiny Overwatch and see if he wanted to throw together some of those things, but then I started getting stuck on that whole loop. If Martin puts out an excellent thing, will they not be able to use that? I mean, I imagine that the way the legality is that anybody who writes anything of the story or draws anything, they basically give up their they're right, and Bungie could just use it, right? I mean, that's the way it's got to be.
Yes.
It has to be.
They would have
Well,
to
I don't
sign
know that
something for
Bungie
them.
could just use it. They could use the idea, but they couldn't specifically use that person's creation without giving them credit and royalty for it, even if it were about Destiny. But they could use
And
an
I don't
idea and redo it themselves.
I don't think that they would like use it exactly. They would come up with something. So
Right. Right. And actually, Agrios, that was a trick question. I know that you're already ready, and you probably are just saying those things to spare my feelings.
Well, no, the thing is, I'm actually going to level up all of those factions more than once between now and House of Wolves. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the point that I'm looking forward to now, is that once I get all of the vendors to that point and I still have weeks left or whatever, then I'll be able to get those packages. But knowing right now that I have a Dead Orbit package that I could just get, all I have to do is put on that cape and then turn in a bounty, and then I can have a package. But I'm saving it. Like, I'm saving it for the future. It's just difficult. You know, like I don't know how those guys do those videos like that. Mesa Sean did that pizza party video where he went through all those legendary and exotic engrams. How do you wait? How do you not march right over there and do that? I mean, I guess it does make good content, and I do watch those videos. So I don't know.
can I jump in real quick before we get too far away from what Agrios was saying?
Do it.
Okay, Agrios, you were talking about how that little menu should have been in there, something in there from the first place, or like how we were supposed to be able to see our faction rep in the first place, right? And I kind of disagree with you in this one, because I feel that Bungie was putting a whole lot of eggs in one basket for the mobile app. They were really depending on you to use that mobile app, and that's why the Grimoire cards are there. That's why it's accessible in there. That's why you're able to see your faction rep. That's why you're able to see a whole bunch of information in there that you wouldn't be able to in the game, and obviously that flopped. So now they're trying to kind of get more of that information in game to kind of alleviate that stuff just because we need it, because we want it.
I would agree with you to a certain degree that was their original intention for the mobile app, was to handle a lot of the things like that. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of a fine line. Like, I try to figure out which things fell to which sides, because obviously, like, the incomplete icons I was talking about, those had nothing to do with the mobile app. Those were still incomplete and added later as well. So things could fall on either side of that fence. As far as the Grimoire goes, there's quotes from Bungie employees stating that entire Grimoire was written within 9 months just before the release of the game, and there wouldn't even been time to program it into the game had they wanted to.
Who said that?
I you know what? Before I say who exactly, I suspect I know who right now, but I don't want to misquote it.
Mm-hmm. Jez,
it
go
was
look
one
it
of
up.
the Bungie employees that we verified
right,
when I was the mod on the subreddit.
So it was an identifiable Bungie employee?
Yes, it was a Bungie employee that, as mods of the subreddit, we confirmed as a Bungie employee through Bungie.
Okay.
Because we have a way, when we were mods, there was a way that we had of Cosmo would exchange an email with Bungie themselves to confirm who on Reddit was really a Bungie employee.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll have to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to find it for you. I'll send it to you. I found it very interesting.
Thank you.
It was actually one of the writers, one of the actual writers of the Grimoire, who said it.
Interesting. I don't even think that the faction rank was available on the mobile at the beginning, right? So that was something that came along even after launch.
I know originally it only showed you like the most recent 2 factions you had upgraded or something like that. Somewhere in the advisor where it shows you the raids were completed, it would just show you like the last 2 most recent ones that had got rep or something along those lines.
Interesting.
And that's all I got.
Belle Bunny says that I was saying his name wrong, which is funny because she says it's Mesa Sean. And sadly, that's I didn't follow him at first because That's what I thought it was. And I was like, what's this fool? Like, why would you ever do that? Why would you put Misa Sean, like Misa not going to subscribe?
Like
but
Jar
no,
Jar Binks.
his content is great, and it's Mesa, and he's a rocker. He posted his setup, which funnily is just a laptop, 2 USB sticks, and the floor, and he creates some really great content with that. But no, seriously, I saw Misa in it, and I've worked hard to say Mesa because I don't know, it sucks. I mean, I imagine number one, he hears that like 1,000 times a day, and number two, Mesa Sean is cool. So, all right, let's keep it going, Agrios.
Continuing, they brought back Double Skirmish this week in honor of Valentine's Day. Did you guys get a chance to participate last time around?
Wait, participate in what?
Double Skirmish?
Oh, yeah. Me and SDF Lomboy sat some fools down in the Double Skirmish.
That's awesome. No, was it just a one-sided murder, or did you find people that were pretty good?
No, it was totally one-sided.
That's awesome. I'm way jealous. I did not take part. I think that I would have if it was 2 on 2 on 2 on 2 on 2, but 2 versus 2, without knowing the other person, I would just run into a couple of SDFs like you,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd go home crying, and I don't know. What about you, Crimson Warlock? Did you play the doubles this time? Are you planning to play them this time?
I might try it this time. I didn't last time. I'm not a big PvPer. Like, I've still yet to do Iron Banner. But it kind of excites me, and I do have a couple of buddies that do like to do PvP, so I'll try it out this week, I think.
That's cool. I've actually been playing much more PvP in the last couple of weeks than I have prior, and I'm really enjoying it. It takes a little while for me to not just run out there and feel like me holding this position is worth something. It's not me just camping. I'm holding this position. It's hard for me not to just run out, just keep running until I see the enemy. But that's how you get killed. Unless your name is Bife, and he seeks those guys out. I don't even know. It's like every time he goes into a lobby, it's like, the 2-year-olds. He's playing against 2-year-olds. Like when I watch Bife play, I think I could have done that. And then I play, and then I feel like Bife is on the other end.
Ouch.
Why can't I do that? So, what about you,
Different
Agros?
time zones.
Are you big on PvP? Are you looking forward to this? Did you do it last time?
I go through spurts. I've participated in all but one of the Iron Banners rather intensively so far. But I missed Double Skirmish last time it was around. I don't remember. Was it the same time as Iron Banner last time? I think maybe. I don't remember, but I was definitely busy with some other things. I had to prioritize other things in the game, and my real life schedule didn't really allow me a lot of excess time that week. So I definitely missed it and definitely want to hit it up this time. Sharks and I will probably be trying our hand at that later on, maybe.
You know what it was for me that pushed me over as I started doing the math. Like the Vanquisher 8 was actually my specific target. But I realized that whether I win or whether I lose, I'm still getting points for my participation. Every round, even if you lose, is 2 marks added to your thing. And so every week, if I just played 50 games, I would definitely have all of the marks, 100%. And once I stopped getting it into my head that I was not doing good because my team wasn't doing good, it was a lot easier. I felt myself kind of just enter this state of, well, this engagement is either going to end with me dying or him dying, whatever. And as soon as I stopped putting such a high importance on it, I just kind of felt like I fell into the groove, and I was just killing fools left and right. Like, I started thinking, man, I'm actually going to do like a Crucible night. Like, I want to get a night together where I just play with some people from the community and do Crucible. it was a lot of fun, and I was by myself. I wasn't on a team with anyone else, so I can only imagine that it will be great fun with a bunch of people. So I might not do this team doubles because it's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I don't know. Moving on.
See, Remy, you just need to find someone like Bife and just cringe behind them, popping out, firing shots as you go around double skirmish. That's what you need to do. That's what I'm looking to do. That's what I'm going to do with Sharks. He's gonna be my cover.
Right? I'm a way good target. You know, like if they're shooting at me, they can't be shooting at Bife, and if Bife is shooting at them, they're not going to survive. So
exactly.
So it's
That's
teamwork. It's teamwork.
See, my thing with that is like I'm always like, okay, I got your back, and I look down my scope for like half a second, and then my buddy's gone, and then I get killed.
Sounds like you guys need to double up then.
Right? It really is about teamwork. I mean, unless you're playing Rumble, it really is about like what I've done is I'll run out into a certain area and then I'll stop and I'll see where people are going, and then I will watch what they're doing and I will watch their back and their side, and it's because they're the bigger blips and they're further ahead, that's where the enemy is going to look, and then I have a chance to help them. It really is fun if you're on a team of anybody that has any idea what they're doing. Like when it's a horrible curse, but whenever I'm out in front, whenever I'm the top scorer on the team, it means that everybody else on my team is horrible. Is so horrible. like that's what it means, because usually I'll be right in the middle somewhere. If I'm playing a game where that my normal game is like a 144 KD. This has been a number that's followed me for a number of games. I almost always kill more people than I die. And I feel like that's not contributing to my loss. I'm not the one who lost this for us. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving on.
Next they go later in the update to the movie of the week section, where they talk about a video created by Terra Mantis, Manifest Destiny. Have you guys had an opportunity to catch this video? It's mainly focused on lore.
Man, I really wanted to watch it, and Bungie tweeted it out at some point during the week, and I thought I'm going to watch this. But this week has been insane for me. First week that my wife is back at work, so now I'm at home raising a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 2-month-old. So it's crazy. Like my sleep schedule has basically been deleted. And so every time I would sit down to watch that, someone would need a bottle or their butt changed. So I haven't had a chance to, and I even saw it earlier today on the update, and I thought, yes, I'm going to watch this so I can discuss it on my show about Destiny, and I totally didn't. And River, did you see it?
No, I actually didn't.
Man,
I hadn't had enough time yet.
We are horrible. This is 2-2-0-0-2 Crimson Warlock. Did you watch it?
0 for 3.
Oh my God, Agrios!
I just did not have time.
Highly recommend it. It's an excellent video. Probably one of the best Destiny lore videos I've seen to date.
Just from the thumbnail and the description, you can tell that they put an insane amount of time in it. But I have absolutely no idea what's going on in it. I'm glad that you had to check it out. I'm glad that you got a chance to check it out. Well, what would you say is the biggest standout? Like, is there really good production work, or is it really good, a really solid story, or what's even going on?
All around. I mean, aside from it being a very excellently, it's very well put together. It's takes information from many different sources and presents it in a very easy to understand, organized, chronological manner, and it's done so with extremely well put together theatrics.
Awesome, way awesome. Well, go check it out. I mean, really, you can't get a better recommendation than Bungie putting it out there. So awesome. Congratulations to them. Do you know if they have more videos on their channel, or if this is the first one, or?
I didn't push further than that. I was actually kind of busy at the time and only had enough time to watch it when it was first posted on Twitter earlier in the week. And I noted the name and gave him a follow, but I haven't had time to dig into it more. But after seeing it, I'm pretty sure anyone who watches it is going to want to see more from him.
Awesome.
I mean, it's too professional not to for him to have done a lot of things similar to this already.
Awesome. Well, Crimson Warlock, River, Remy, you're fired. We failed, my friends.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll have plenty of time.
Well, it's just lore, I mean.
Awesome.
But they go on to mention that Bungie really likes to see the user generated content, and they have a special hashtag for people to share their content. And they also make note of the new Share Factory theme that's available from PS4 this week. Have you guys had a chance to explore that at all? I myself have never used Share Factory for any real reasons yet, but I want to get into it.
I've used Share Factory and have found the tools to be primitive but useful. Like they have transitions and they have like a way of titling things and then taking that same information down. And because I have used things like Sony Vegas previously, like movie video editors, I was able to do a couple other things like actually, the only thing that I haven't been able to get to is transferring that information from my PlayStation 4. I just haven't had a chance to get a USB drive big enough that will pull that off, because there's a moment from the Destiny beta that I want to share. It was this: I was holding a control point, and this guy kept coming through the same door, and I just kept shooting him, and finally he got pissed off, and he just ran straight at me and tried to do his Fist of Havoc, and I jumped up and just punched him, and he died. Like, in the middle of this Fist of Havoc. It's an amazing part of time that I think about all the time, and I try and do it now. Like, I wonder if you can even do that in Destiny at this point, because I will still try. Titans telegraph that like crazy. You know when they're about to pull that out on you. So I've used it pretty extensively for just a few projects, and I'm excited about having an actual Destiny bumper. I have not seen it yet. I did download it from my phone and sent it to my PlayStation 4, but then here we are. I don't really know where I am, as a matter of fact. I hope I don't nod off during the cast. River, Warlock. Oh no, River, you're on Xbox One. This question isn't even for you. Crimson Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't touched the Share Factory. I don't get hardly any time to really mess with my PlayStation, so I play Destiny. I don't look at extra stuff that often.
Right, I have such a limited amount of time, but playing Destiny it's kind of like a scratcher ticket. It's kind of like the lottery. Yeah, I know that I'm probably going to get trash for the Nightfall, but I could get something. And if all it takes is 45 minutes of my time, why not go through it? But this week, actually, I spent a lot of time working on getting this podcast to iTunes. River asked for it for Christmas, and, and things have been hectic, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. But I am a hop, skip, and a jump, River. And anyone listening who is interested in listening to this on iTunes, we are almost there. I've actually got the whole pipeline down. I just need to verify. I need to create the RSS file, verify it, submit it for approval, and then that's it. We're there. So instead of scratching the Destiny lottery ticket, I've actually been putting in real work for this, and it's really because there is no carrot. There is no carrot at the end of the stick. The carrot is a lie.
Yes.
What about you, Agrios? Do you use that Share Factory?
I have not had a chance yet. I haven't. I downloaded it, intending to poke around in it, and I just keep neglecting to.
I think if there was a more straightforward way to share it, then I would use it a lot more.
So you currently can't upload directly to YouTube or anything like that yet?
No, you can upload the video file to Facebook. That's it.
Ew.
But then I don't know how to share it from Facebook. I guess I could just tell everyone to go to the Guardian 1 page that we have.
Well, I
up.
mean, you could always go just rip it off of Facebook and put it on YouTube, then on your laptop after it's on Facebook.
Yeah, but then I'd have to log into Facebook on my computer and get those viruses. Not interested in that.
Viruses.
Continuing.
All right. Moving on. Hello?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Good. I thought I had lost connection. My phone, I got a weird message on my screen there for a second. Okay, so moving on, we have there was a small update to Bungie.net this week. They made some changes to the forums, and in April, Google will become an unsupported login for Bungie.net. So anybody who uses that on a regular basis will have to make do with something else.
Crazy. That's crazy. I wonder why it's unsupported. Click, click.
No idea. I'm guessing maybe they want to make changes to the way things operate on Bungie.net, and as long as Google's being used as a login, it's maybe preventing that, so they're getting rid of it, so it's not restricting them. I don't know. It's speculation.
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay. We had earlier this week there was a Bungie bounty with the Destiny of Dads. We had the Bungie bounty this week was on Crota, and 3 of the Bungie developers took on Crota with 3 of the Dads of Destiny, who do their podcast. Did you guys get a chance to check this out?
I I didn't have a chance to check it out until everybody was drawing attention to some comments made, some poorly thought out comments. You know what? It's like, and I say poorly thought out because you'd think that they would have like an official answer for this. You know, something along the lines of "We're not talking about this." But I actually had River cut that audio out, that specific audio, so we could listen to it here and discuss this, because in our group chat, it's been pretty crazy. River, did you check out that stream?
I didn't check out the stream at the time. I had, husband duties to do at home.
Right, life.
Yeah.
Right, Warlock. What about you?
No, when it was running, I was sick in bed. I've been so sick this week, and glad I'm on the mend for tonight, actually.
Got it. Agrios?
I did not get to check it out while it was playing, but was looking into it afterward, and then saw all of the excitement about the potential reveal of new information, and that got me to start looking into the more details about it.
Right, and so Urk took to Twitter to say that he doesn't have all of the answers, and if he did, he certainly wouldn't share them because that's no fun. And then he went to clarify more, saying that the answer that he gave of yes, or next question, it was, he did not think it was in connection to a hidden chest, to another hidden chest. And I personally 100% believe that there are more chests in there. I mean, just the fact that there's that Vex gate off to the side after that jumping puzzle, and then like before I even knew that there were other blocks that led down to it, I looked at it and I thought, this is clearly something. I mean, it could just be background, but this is clearly something. And then actually, Agrios, you're the one who showed me how to activate those stairs, but we don't know how to get in there. And actually, it's funny, as I was thinking about, I want to do like not a Kickstarter, but some kind of, I want to crowdsource funding for someone to figure out what is going on with that whole section. Like I would think that there would be people in the community who would be interested in throwing in $5 to whoever it was that first solved that puzzle, So, I mean, is the end of Atheon, when you're just sitting there, is that the actual end of the mission? Because, and if so, why doesn't it send you back out to that portal? You know what I was thinking is, what if you killed Atheon, and then you went back through those main doors, and then jumped across there somehow? But this all comes at a price of time that I don't have to do. So that's why I was thinking about doing this crowdfunding. So if anyone out there is listening is interested in helping me with that project, we will go forward with that. I would like to put like a bounty. I would like to put a bounty of something on the head of of the Vault of Glass. I want to know. There's people out there with the time and the ability and the want to do this, and I just want to give them a little extra incentive. Maybe publicize this.
Well, I'd like to take this time to. I think this would be a good time to shout out about. There's a extra subreddit on Destiny dedicated specifically to raid secrets and figuring them out. It's the subreddit's actually just called Raid Secrets, and it seems like a really great group of really dedicated people who have some really creative ideas about how some of these secrets could be unveiled.
Do you have that list handy?
Yeah, I can. Well, it's not really a list. I mean, it's a whole subreddit just full of articles with people with just hundreds of ideas and also lists of things that have been tried and whatnot. But I can put a link to that actual subreddit in the chat.
That would be cool. Yeah, I went through and I read some of that, and a lot of them sound great. And actually, our own Crimson Warlock had the idea of everybody getting into gear from the Vault of Glass. And what was it? What was the other specific thing you were thinking, Crimson Warlock?
Oh, it was just running the entire raid up to the jumping platform Vex Gate in raid gear. Like, no exotics equipped armor-wise. You just had to be full Vex raid gear.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds really cool, and like something that could be... like something that could definitely be in here. I definitely want to try that out as well. I don't know. What do you think, River?
I mean, what do I think there's a raid chest, or like what exactly? Because we went over a whole bunch of stuff just now.
We did. We went over a ton of stuff. Why don't you give me the answer that you want to talk about?
Okay, how's this? How's this? Okay, I don't think... Who was it? Was it Urk? I don't think he really meant anything by whenever he said yes. How's that? Are we getting into that yet?
We can get into that.
Yeah. I don't know, are we?
Yes.
The answer is yes?
Yes. Okay, so...
On to the next question.
Okay, so here I will just play the relevant sections. So it started off with this.
Oh, Nightblade really wants to know: is there has everything been found? Do we know all the secrets of the Vault of Glass?
Okay, so this is how this begins. Do we know all of the secrets of the Vault of Glass? And this is a great question, and one that I think should have a standardized answer. Like to think that the people who work on Destiny wouldn't have a way of dodging this more successfully than this.
Oh. That's one of those things that's like so not fun or cool for us. Like I think Deech puts this really well. Like if you went to see a movie and the guy that ripped the ticket was like, "Here's how the movie ends," you'd be like, "Dude."
All right.
Yeah. Does anyone know the secrets?
All right.
Okay, so this answer to me says that absolutely yes, there is. Like I can understand why you would think that this could just be a straight dodge. The fact that they didn't just say no, or the fact that they didn't just say yes, you found everything. I mean, why don't they have a better answer for that?
Well, there was more to that answer.
Yeah,
Totally.
Well, I kind of feel like that's Urk's way of saying we're not talking about that right now.
No, there was more to that answer. If you continue the audio clip, there's more to that.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
There are always secrets.
Okay, so right there, is pretty plain on its face. There are always secrets. Continuing.
There's only one person at Bungie that knows all of the Easter eggs in the game. because he is the singular person who approves them all.
Oh, nice.
That's Rob.
All right,
Adams.
so burn the sword bearer. Just message Rob Adams is what you're saying?
No. Correct. No. It's actually it's Harold Ryan, the president. Are you up there with the sword yet? Let's do it. CPS. I'm just gonna.
Okay, right there, he was mentioning Easter eggs. I really think there's not. He wasn't really talking about chests. I mean, he could be. There's that possibility, but I really think he's referring more to Easter eggs and other things that we just hadn't found yet, and more along those lines.
Totally. Totally.
I agree with that.
I absolutely agree with that as well. It could be something as simple as, like that Master Chief on that strike. It's debatable. But it actually continues into this next section, which was actually what drew everybody's attention. Coming up.
There we go. Yep. You know what? I'm not even gonna shoot him anymore. Look at you. All right, TPS.
I didn't want to cut. I'm just playing the whole thing straight through because I didn't want there to be people talking about, I might have made edits to this to make it sound. I just have the whole audio continuing.
All right.
Wah, wah. Oh, you're so doing it, Rob. Look at you. So proud of you.
All right, so we're going to go to the ogre room now?
Ogre room.
Ogre room?
Ogres, yeah. I'm staying up top. Don't follow me. Because I like to be different. Rebel Earth. Go sit on the...
Good question. Are there any more chests in the vault? Okay, not a...
Okay, so somebody right there says, are there any more chests in the vault? And Irk says that he was not. He didn't think he was responding to this question when he answers this next part.
Okay.
Yes, the answer is yes.
All right. Yes. The answer is yes. He went to Twitter. He said that he didn't think that was the answer, the question he was answering. So what question did he think he was answering? I played for you. Huh?
I was going to say he didn't hear the question. If you think about it, whenever Too Loud was going, I think Irk was just being dismissive of what question it was because he didn't hear it. So the default answer to a question is yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
I did
That's
not
how I
know
would say
that.
it.
I did not know
that. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you were saying, but yeah, answer's yes.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. But I will tell you what, even if there's more chests. Everybody, do you hear that? I'm going to go on record right now saying there's more chests in the Vault of Glass, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, okay? This is why I need people to go out there who hunger for this kind of test. Because what I hear from this back and forth is that there's still stuff to be found. And if it's as awesome and as magical as the method of getting into that Vex Gate or making that chest appear, that's it. That's what it is. I can't imagine that what secrets they have left do not lead up to a chest. Because there's that one chest if the Templar doesn't transport, then that chest going down those rocks, that's what spawns that there, right? Right. So that's crazy. That's crazy talk in my mind. Like until you showed that to me, Agrios, I don't know that I ever would have found that. Who even found that? Why did you even look there? Why did you think that this was the way that this triggered this? I'm thinking that because nobody has found a way to trigger that additional Vex Gate or even whatever's over there, it's got to lead to a chest. Like, I can't imagine that it would be just, here's kind of something that looks like Master Chief. It seems like the work to get there is much greater than what is at the end. And even if it is just a tiny bit at the end, I don't know. I think that there's a chest. I
agree. I think there is too. Although I have to say, these people at Raid Secrets have really tried a lot of different things.
Yeah,
like pretty much anything I have ever thought of to try to do, most of them I've been able to find a very clear cut. Oh, yep, somebody definitely tried to do this already. Usually with video proof.
Okay, so something that I've been holding on to is the description for the Pocket Infinity, talking about you get the feeling that this is much more a doorway than a weapon. Does anybody here think that has anything to do with it, or could River?
No.
Good answer, Crimson Warlock.
Sorry, what was the question?
The description on the description for Pocket Infinity mentions that this feels more like a doorway than a weapon. Do you think that has anything to do with perhaps opening this other portal?
I don't know, because I've never gotten a Pocket Infinity because the game hates me.
Oh, you've never
And
you've never gotten the exotic bounty for it?
I've gotten it once. Out
You
of
passed it
the
up?
30 I've seen, I passed it up for Bad Juju, not thinking that Bad Juju would pop up like a million times for me. So I do not have. I seriously want more vault space because I have 10 fusion rifles in my bank, taking up weapon space. Because I'm waiting for that bounty to pop. Like, I'm getting frustrated because now I'm starting to have to juggle guns more often because I've got 10 blue fusion rifles sitting in my bank. So I don't know, because I didn't know about that.
Well, it's definitely rare. Because
Yeah,
I only
it
got
is.
that bounty once.
It is pretty rare.
Seriously?
Yeah. Only once. And I've gotten Thorn like 4 times.
Crazy.
You know,
I definitely
think
get that first set of 3 more than the set of 2 that Pocket Infinity comes with, but I've had both that and Super Good Advice like 3 or 4 times each. I've just gotten to dismantle them before.
Me too.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it had to do something with an exotic weapon, like that flavor text says. Maybe it is a clue. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I think it'd be cool. But at the same time, I don't know if they would do something like that, because that would exclude a lot of players from being able to get it.
Well, you'd only have to find one person with a Pocket Infinity to have them in your fire team to open a door for the rest of you, so to speak.
Well, what if you have to cross the streams? What if that's why it has full auto, is so that everybody has a chance to hit at the same time?
I bet you it's something similar to that one skull you had to get in Halo 3, where you had to jump through the rings.
Oh yeah. Was that real?
In like a certain order. Did you ask if that was real?
Yeah, I never did it.
Oh yeah, I did.
I tried to do it with my friend. I've seen videos of it, but I tried to run through those things, but that was real. That happened?
Yeah, that happened. I actually did it so I could get the skull.
That's awesome. That's super awesome.
So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, basically there's a level in Halo 3 where you had these holographic gigantic rings that represent the different Halos, and you had to jump through them in a certain order, and then it would spawn the skull like someplace else in the level. Yes, I would have been your daddy.
That's awesome. That is
But
so
the dog
awesome.
beat me over the fence.
That's so funny. That's why I thought Deej ran the Travelers account. There's a Twitter Traveler account, and the Twitter was at IWHBYT. I would have been your Traveler. I thought for certain that was a Bungie account, but it didn't keep up. I wonder if maybe it was just to spark conversation before the game came out, and is now defunct. Like, they don't want the Traveler talking. They don't want people talking to the Traveler. I don't know.
So I have a question for everybody. Like, if this chest was real, would you care enough to go get it?
Yeah.
Just because we're past that, and especially if it's not found until a couple years, maybe Destiny 3's out before it's found. If it's real, would you still go back and do it?
Yeah.
If it's not freaking Ascendant materials.
Well, I just would do it just to do it, to get that chest that finally, that no one never got forever in a day. Just like, like the story you just got to tell about those rings and that skull, and that's such a unique thing that they did back then. You went and did that and experienced it. You didn't get anything useful but a skull out of it.
those skulls were useful. Don't sorry, try not to yell.
You know,
skulls.
all of Bungie's games have an incredible depth to them, in terms of what's directly in front of you, what's above and below you, and what's hidden from sight. Like there's an amazing amount of things. Like there was a bunch of stuff that I did, for the Halo series that were similar to that. I never got to do that one, but were similar in that this is cool. Someone spent time thinking this up and putting this in there. And actually, I think that the last Halo 3 Easter egg was just found, and who even knows if that was actually the last one.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Right,
and that one was elaborate too.
That one was elaborate too. So yeah. Actually, you know what? This question, would you go back and get it? Leads me to this next point that I want to make before we have to go here. Is like, I read this article on Kotaku talking about 5 months in, people are starting to hit this wall, and I feel like I have the worst of both worlds, because I don't get enough chance to play to hit that wall, but I sure see it and I sure feel it, and it's looming, it's hanging over my head. Like I don't get a chance to run the Vault of Glass every week. Should be running every week no less than 2 hard mode Vault of Glass so I can try and get that Mythoclast. I actually have 3 characters that could run it, but just 2 would be better than not doing it at all. And so I see the wall and I feel the wall, but I'm not anywhere near it. River, do you feel this wall?
No, I certainly don't, because I just made 32 like last week. So now I hadn't even really attempted a hardcore run into hard mode yet. So no, I have not hit this wall yet. But I do feel it, just like you were saying.
Okay.
Like I see it. I see other people hitting it.
Right. I hear about it on Twitter all the time. There's so many people that have hit that wall, and so it's there. Like I know it's there. And really, the only thing I really want from Destiny from this point on, I mean, I'd love to have Thunderlord, but it's not required. I'd love to have Hard Light. It looks like fun. But what I really want is the Mythoclast. That's all I really want. Like I'm not worried about hitting level 32 right now. I'm not worried about any of the Crota's weapons. I really just want that Mythoclast. Crimson Warlock, have you hit this wall, or do you feel it?
I've kind of been starting to feel it, but honestly, as much as I want it sooner, the announcement of House of Wolves being delayed has made me breathe a little bit easier.
Agreed.
Just because I'm like, okay, good. That means I don't feel like I have to kill hard mode Crota every single week to get what I want. I could probably miss a week or two and not feel like I'm still being rushed to try and get everything before new content comes out. Because yeah, I still want a Mythoclast. I still want one of those. I've never gotten one, and trying to raid, do 3 or 4 raids a week to do both a normal Crota, hard mode Crota, and then like 2 hard mode Vaults of Glass is almost too much. Plus the Nightfalls and weeklies. Like for me, that's almost the extent of what I can do in an entire week. So I kind of feel it, but I kind of don't. And I'm glad for that. But at the same time, I feel like if I didn't play Destiny for a week and I was catching up on another game, I wouldn't feel like I was missing anything, and I wouldn't feel like I was getting too far behind at all.
Sharks, you don't notice that there's a wall because you've been standing on top of it for so long. Like it's so funny playing with Sharks, because he was upset that he wasn't getting these raid pieces he was getting, but he was like sitting on the Mythoclast. Like, who cares about this other crap? Mythoclast. Bife only got it just recently. Mythoclast. Sharks? Agrios, how close are you to the wall? Like, I know that you and Sharks are in a constant competition of your grimoire. Who's winning right now?
Sharks is still ahead, although I'm catching up. He's only 15 points above me. He's at 27.35 right now.
And so where is this wall in comparison to you? Like, have you gotten everything that you want?
No, I definitely don't have everything, but I definitely have hit the wall to a degree. I definitely I used to like clear my bounties every day and stuff like that. Well, not only have I not clear, I stopped doing bounties unless I absolutely needed to for the most part, but I have missed days playing other games from Destiny, and that, I mean, really hasn't happened since launch until recently. I've at least played Destiny some every day.
Yeah.
And so the wall is definitely feeling that. I think May is too long for House of Wolves. I think they needed to have more out already. I mean, before Destiny was released, there is a quote, I forget offhand who said, I think it might have been Eric, that there is going to be something new to do in Destiny every single day for the next 10 years. And I really think that quote would have been better put, there's going to be something different to do in Destiny every day for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded kind of like a cop-out answer, like when I think it was Deej who posted, "Until you kicked every ass in the Crucible, you haven't done everything in Destiny," and it just falls flat to me, you know? It's weak. It's weak sauce, is what I'm saying.
Like, I was really hoping for more things like the Queen's Wrath event and more different, diverse things. And, I mean, not only did that not work out, but, I mean, we haven't seen it or anything of its ilk for ages now. I mean, Iron Banner is pretty much exclusively the only thing that occurs other than oddball Crucible playlists. And, I mean, that's all Crucible-based stuff. So, I mean, the especially the PvE exclusive type players, except for just getting different bounties every day, there's, I mean, not really anything special like the Queen's Wrath that comes around at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think that we'll see a lot more of that in the future. I have a prediction. Bungie really likes to reward the subset of people that play their game that are hardcore. That they really like to put special things out there. Like there's some people that have some really sweet, very unique emblems right now because they just spent a lot of time in the forums and and their accounts were held in good activity. And I feel like some of the things that we really want to see, some of the things like the more integrated story or the patrols that are a little bit more in depth, the storylines. I think that we're going to see a lot of this when it goes to next gen only. And I feel like what we are doing right now, like what is going on, is we are all becoming the Vanguard, the actual Vanguard. Like I think that once it goes to next gen only, they're going to open up so much more of this. I want to say world, but I don't want to say that it's going to be this huge area of land that's explorable. Although I really want that, and you need to put that in the game, Bungie. I feel like there's going to be another crop of people that come in who weren't part of what we're doing right now, and I feel like this is legwork for becoming legend. You know, I had another question, but I forgot what it was. Agrios, how are we doing on your stuff?
Well, we're through the main pieces of news. I have stuff that I could keep us going for another about 2-3 hours if you want.
I do want to, and I could. I would be happy to once a week to talk about Destiny. Really, it's not enough. But cool. Why don't we call the show then? I wanted to end the show with a message from Seer Prophet, one of our listeners. I asked him if there was any topic that he was interested in us talking about, because when we said that we weren't going to go live last week, he sent some tweets that were like, "What?" And it made me feel good. It made me feel good because he was looking forward to the show, and that's, I don't know, that's a connection that's really cool. I want to talk about Destiny. I want to bring people to talk about Destiny, and there's people who are interested in listening to us talk about Destiny. And so I asked him if there was any topic that he would like us to cover, and then he says that he would like to see custom loadouts, everything from weapon combos to elemental loadouts. Push the touchpad and pick a direction on the D-pad. Long overdue, in my opinion. And that would be really cool. That would be really awesome. Just being able to switch up your gear like that, like having a Crucible loadout or having like a raid loadout, you don't use the same thing for those things. I think that would be really awesome. He says you don't always have to go behind cover and switch out your exotic primary to your Yellowhorn. Being able to quick switch between loadouts would be awesome. He says, I also wanted to say thank you and the rest of the guys on the podcast for what you do. This may surprise you, but I'm a 41-year-old dad with 3 kids, love my family and my destiny. I take you guys to work every Friday or Saturday morning with me. I appreciate it. Thanks. And to you, Seer Prophet, I say thank you because this is awesome and amazing, and it's a really great idea. River, what do you think about this?
Seer Prophet, I really like where your head's at. This is a very useful idea, but they did not implement this as a design choice.
So you think that okay, continue.
No, I was going to say that they've said as much in previous weekly updates, I believe, saying that in order to switch out your weapons, they're making that difficult so that you don't do it all the time. Basically, it's there to kind of keep you in check so that you don't switch out things too quickly.
I thought that they were saying that about the ammo. Like when you switch weapons, they didn't want you to just be able to go willy-nilly from one to the other, and therefore that's why the ammo drops. I didn't realize that selecting the weapons was also part of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they kept it. They kept the ability for you to switch weapons in, different than Halo, so that you could have that freedom. But the penalty is for you to dig into your bag in the middle of a firefight, and that's a bad thing. I wouldn't want to do that.
Right? And you know what?
It is a design choice.
Crimson Warlock.
Yeah, I would. My whole thoughts with a lot of these improvements is, first off, if Bungie can pull off what they did in less than 3 months between the difference of launch and the Dark Below, then I can't wait for every other content release. But also, just wait for next gen to be the exclusive, and the game will just explode after that with different things. I feel Remy mentioned it too, but once we get to latest gen exclusive game, there's so much more I feel that we'll be able to do, and so much more they'll be able to implement and show us what they want Destiny to be.
Agreed. Agrios.
Both SDF, River, and Crimson make excellent points. SDF River is actually 100% correct about this being a conscious decision on their part. I don't necessarily entirely agree with it, but it was intentional to make it more difficult to change your weapon loadouts like that. And at this point, almost all the things that I actually kind of dislike about Destiny get thrown to the I blame the fact that it came out on last gen as well, and that's holding next gen back at this point. So I couldn't agree more with Crimson about wait till next gen, and hopefully we'll see a lot of the things that we were hoping this one would have been. Beyond that, though, I was frustrated with their decision to occupy 4 entire buttons on a controller without all that many buttons to do different emotes. Not that I don't like the emotes, but I think it could have been handled more along the lines like you push and hold up, and it brings up a little tiny thing down in the corner that shows the 4 different emotes at a different direction, and you tap the analog the direction of the emote you wanted to do. Then that would only occupy 1 button on the controller for emotes, and you'd have all those 3 other buttons to use for other useful things. I personally, for instance, would like to be able to pop a heavy ammo synth on there and be able to use a heavy ammo synth without having to go into the bag and flip to the second screen. Especially people on last gen, that would be a huge help for, because their screens take so long to come up that to pop a heavy synth in the middle of battle is impossible half the time.
Yeah, that's
But that might go along with that whole they wanted to make your weapon handling more difficult in that regard thing too. But I still just think there could have been more useful things they could have used some of those buttons for.
I really like the way you have that laid out. That's a really great use for those buttons. I felt the same way when I found out that they were going to be used for emotes. I thought that the usefulness just wasn't I don't know. It just didn't seem like the best use of it. I mean, I do like being able to point. I do like being able to wave and dance. It is something that I do regularly. But yeah, being able to hit up and then choose that's a really sweet way of using those buttons. That would be really cool. And then
It'd be similar to like the weapon wheel effect on some games. Like you hold L3 and bring up a weapon wheel, and then tap left, right, up, down to select the weapon that pops up on the tiny menu while you're holding like L1. It would just be like that for emotes, basically.
yeah, and this really would this really would help people in the last generation because it is gnarly sometimes waiting for the screen to pop up to change weapons, but. Right on. So I think that's it. For this show. So shout-outs, starting with you, Agrios.
Oh, I should think of my shout-outs. How about this? I'll give some super good advice this week instead of a shout-out.
Oh, I like it.
We'll give 2 bits of super good advice this week, actually. Okay, first bit of super good advice is that you don't need to ask your guardians if they have their super prepared. The green box with their level will glow yellow when they have their super ready.
Awesome.
And the other one is, if you have Red Death, you can shoot your own trip mine grenade or the arc grenade that sticks into things from the Titan, I forget what it's called right now, and whatnot to gain life.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for those 2 pieces of information. Crimson Warlock.
My shout out tonight is to a vitamin that I want to call vitamin C, my lifesaver, because my whole family was almost on their deathbeds this week with colds and croup and nasty stuff, and vitamin C rescued us all. We're almost over it.
Awesome. Vitamin C to the rescue. River.
Let's see. Shout out to HD Dispatch. Those folks over there are running the 8-Bit Salute 2015. I'm not sure if you guys seen that rolling around.
I have.
Yeah. So just to let you listeners know, Destiny Fans Give Back is, well, it's back. And we're looking to make some donations to Operation Supply Drop. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's a charity organization that helps out predominantly U.S. military. The troops who are like downrange, deployed out away from home, or those who are recovering in health facilities and don't really have much to do. So Operation Supply Drop, they give these guys and gals video game paraphernalia, basically. Give them something to keep their mind off of, some of the things that are going on. And this kind of hits pretty close to my heart because I'm a prior U.S. Navy sailor, served 7 years, and I'm glad to help out my brothers and sisters in uniform. So there'll be a Twitch stream on February 28th starting at 10 a.m. Central Time, so that's 11 Eastern for you guys on the East Coast. And Guardian 1 will be taking part, but we'll be doing like a late night one. And that'll be myself. I'll be streaming for Guardian 1 starting at 4 a.m. Eastern to 7 a.m. Eastern. That's Sunday, so that'll be on the 29th. So if you guys can, just give what you can, because we really appreciate it.
Awesome. Great shout out. Actually, Destiny Author is supposed to be coming on the show at some point whenever he's able to make it to promote this. It's like,
I love him being here for that kind of stuff.
Right. I love having him on anyways because he's kind of like I kind of feel like he's the American Bife as far as like if I was to do like across the pond warring of lore, I would so put Bife up against Destiny Author and just let him duke it out, like it would be great. But yeah, at some point he's supposed to be on here. We're just trying to work around his schedule. But awesome, you were in the Navy. That's really cool. Were you on a boat somewhere?
Honestly, if you want the honest answer, no.
Oh, okay.
I was predominantly a air crewman, so I was flying up in the jets, and I never saw a boat in my 7 years.
What's the fake answer? You gave me
fake
the
answer?
option for yeah.
I would let you think what you want.
I'd like to think
and
that
I could use all the jargon. I could fake it and use all the jargon, but a direct answer is no. I've never seen a boat. And you sailors out there, you can give me crap if you want.
All right, but my alternate universe for River is that he was on an aircraft carrier, because those things are gnarly. Those things are awesome.
Those things are huge.
Right? I got to go to the decommissioning of one of the Kitty Hawk, actually, because I
nice.
here in Washington, and I got to go on board, and it was gnarly. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. They fired off the guns while we were in the like this main opening. It was awesome. Cool.
Man, it'd be something to land on an aircraft carrier, man. I could imagine that'd be scary as shit.
Nerves of steel, man. Those pilots are something else.
Well, I tell you what, I played a lot of Afterburner, and it was rough.
Yeah, I know all about it.
My shout out this evening is to Seer Prophet. I really appreciate the enthusiasm for this show. And very shortly, I know that you were asking about a way of downloading the show directly. We will have an RSS feed available for basically any kind of serial aggregator, but specifically I will be pushing it out to iTunes soon. So that is it. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.
Booyah, Aircrew.